Tonight, a landmark case currently ongoing could have a lasting impact on the future of women's athletics. One human and women's rights advocate is encouraged by the inroads that women across the region are making in politics. On the eve of independence, it is safe to say the city was buzzing with excitement that was reflected in sales from many vendors and pastries who were not shy to share their good news.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Lovelace and Amy Joseph.
It is Thursday, the 21st of February 2019. Welcome to Hot 7 News on Hot 7 TV, which is also being simulcast on Kiss FM. I am Trisha Lionel, sitting in for Lovelace and Amy Joseph. Thank you so much for joining us. A landmark case currently ongoing could have a lasting impact on the future of women's athletics. Caster Semenya is a South African middle distance runner and 2016 Olympic gold medalist. Semenya also won a silver medal at the 2011 World Championships in the 800 meters. She was the winner of the gold medal in the 800 meter event at the 2012 Summer Olympics and 2016 Summer Olympics. These achievements indisputably are impressive, but to some, the South African track star may have an unfair advantage. Some believe she may be too manly to compete in the women's category. We begin our news coverage tonight with a special report. South African track star Caster Semenya arrived at court in Switzerland yesterday for a case which could alter the future of women's athletics. The Olympian is challenging a proposal by the athletics governing body to limit testosterone levels in female athletics competing in distances of between 400 meters and 1 mile. Semenya has a condition called hyperandrogenism, which means her testosterone levels are naturally elevated. The average testosterone levels for women are between 0.52 and 2.43 nanomoles per liter of blood, while for men it is between 10.41 to 34.70. After winning the 800 meters at the World Championships in 2009 at the age of 18, Semenya was forced to spend 11 months on the sidelines while she underwent sex verification testing. The results of the test were never made public, but the 28-year-old was cleared to compete again in women's events in 2010. Unconfirmed reports suggest that Semenya may have up to 3 times the testosterone levels of the average woman. Now, the International Association of Athletics Federations, that is the IAAF, plans to reduce the testosterone limit level from 10 nanomoles per liter to 5 for female athletics. The International Olympic Committee is planning to do the same. If such rules are implemented, Semenya could be barred from competing. However, this debacle has resulted in athletes from around the world supporting the track star. St. Lucia, as will the rest of the Caribbean, will undoubtedly be affected based on the final decision of the case. Attempts to reach officials at the St. Lucia Athletics Association for comment on the matter were unsuccessful. I am Trisha Lionel for Hot 7 News. Human and women's rights advocate Felicia Brown is encouraged by the inroads that women across the region are making in politics. Speaking on the heels of an announcement by the Dominican Prime Minister, Roosevelt Skerrit says that his slate of candidates will include 9 women. Brown says she is pleased to note that societies are making strides towards greater inclusion and gender parity in politics.
I think at this stage we're seeing what we'd call a paradigm shift in the political spaces where women are being encouraged into elective politics. I think we have to continuously to encourage women into elective politics. What we're seeing in not only Dominica now, but also in Jamaica, where the wife of the Prime Minister also ran elections. And so we're seeing that most of those women were already involved in active politics, but not as a political candidate. And so these women taking the forefront and taking the step as to wanting to become a candidate or representative for their particular constituency should be continuously applauded. And also we're looking in terms of political parties, how easy it is for women to become candidates, what is the different types of measures taken to encourage women to become representatives for their constituencies and as part of the party. So a number of times what we saw in the past is that women worked very hard in the background, developing the party structure, but at the same time they were not considered as eligible for elective politics. And so what we're seeing now is that emergence of women taking that stance, and also the encouragement that they are actually getting for the constituencies is something that we need to take note of as well in the Caribbean.
Reflecting on the status of women in St. Lucia's own elective politics, Brown rubbishes claims that St. Lucia is not ready for a female prime minister.
We've always been ready for a female prime minister. I think at this stage, I think most times when we think about gender when it comes to politics, the conversation usually changes and said, well, we just need a good leader and we need good leadership. But I think representation is very important.
Now, in the case of Dominica, there is still some contention about whether the slate of 9 women candidates should include the Prime Minister's wife, Melissa Skerritt. Some argue that the Skerritt family will hold too much political power, but Brown says Melissa Skerritt should be judged on her own merit.
We also need to take in consideration that the woman is her person. She has her own identity as well. And most times when we saw when the press release was sent, we kept seeing the Prime Minister's wife, and we never made mention of who she is as an individual. And so she may have her own interests and own goals as well. And though we want to understand that it's a family running for elections, but we've had brothers run for elections as well, and we were not too concerned about that. We've had father and son run in, and we weren't too concerned about that. So we've seen quite a lot of that happening, and particularly when you have family members who have been in elective politics for quite a while, it becomes much easier because it's like an everyday living for them. It's part of the structure, the everyday life. So yes, we have to, as a society, pay very close attention to what is happening in terms to avoid any forms of political corruption. But at the same time, we want to encourage women to have her own identity.
As for Brown's future in St. Lucia's elective politics, she says she will soon announce where her affiliation lies, but assures that it will be with a party that encourages more women to become involved in politics. In other news, former police press relations officer and Kaiso headquarters favorite Tamara Charles Law, who was also known by the stage name Brown Sugar, has passed away. The news of her passing has left many in mourning because, like her stage name suggests, Charles Law had an infectiously sweet personality. She and her police officer husband, Cameron Law, was a well-loved and well-respected couple within the police force. Their colleagues are trying to surround her family with love during this difficult time of her passing. Charles Law was badly injured when her automobile veered off the road and went off a precipice on the Bardlil in 2010. She sought treatment in both Martinique and Colombia in the wake of her accident and was always in high spirits, even though she was confined to a wheelchair. On Thursday, the devastating news hit. Charles Law had passed. It is a bitter pill to swallow for her immediate family and the extended law enforcement family. Corporal Ann Joseph of the Police Press Relations Office has expressed condolences to the family of Charles Law.
It is with deep sadness that we confirm the passing of Miss Tamara Charles Law, Woman Police Constable number 115, who was previously attached to the Press Relations Office of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. We can confirm that she passed away this morning. The Commissioner and other members of his executive have extended their condolences in person to the family and friends of Miss Charles Law. But on behalf of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, the Commissioner and the other members of his executive, I would like to take the opportunity to formally extend condolences to the family, friends, and the affected colleagues of Miss Tamara Charles Law.
Charles Law is survived by her husband and their daughter. The Marine Unit of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force is in a state of pride after officers rescued over a dozen catamaran passengers who were stranded on a sinking vessel. Officers responded to the emergency call in record time. Here is Rochelle Gonzalez with more.
The Marine Unit of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force is being hailed for its speedy response to an emergency call on the waters Wednesday morning. Sergeant 230 Peter Joseph of the Marine Unit told Hot 7 News that the recorded response time in this rescue is testament to the kind of work carried out by the officers. The call was sent out at 10:12 a.m. of a sinking vessel called the Albatross 2 in the north of the island, and a team set out to the scene 3 minutes later. The 40-foot French vessel is used to ferry persons between St. Lucia and Martinique. Sergeant Joseph said the unit prides itself on its ability to move quickly.
Receiving that call at 10:12 in the morning and our first vessel being deployed at 10:15 says a lot about how quickly we do respond, because it is our job as police officers to respond, right, and to serve and protect, and that is what we are trying to do as much as is possible.
The sergeant gave the details of the harrowing rescue mission. He said the persons rescued were visibly traumatized by the whole incident.
There were reportedly 15 persons on board. So shortly thereafter, about 10:15, we deployed a first vessel to the scene to investigate. They located that vessel about 3 nautical miles west of Pigeon Point, right? And they did see a vessel that appeared to be taken in water. From questioning, they did ascertain that there were 15 persons on board, right? The 12 persons were embarked upon our vessels. The 12 passengers, all St. Lucians, were taken to Rodney Bay via our own vessel, our first vessel on scene. Right. Shortly afterwards, about 11:40 hours, we deployed a second vessel to render further assistance to the stricken vessel. That was done, and they escorted that vessel to Rodney Bay Marina.
He then went on to reveal that 3 other individuals, namely the vessel's captain, its owner, and a crew member, stayed behind with the sinking vessel. All 3 individuals were French nationals from the neighboring island Martinique. Sergeant Joseph said the unit assisted in dewatering the vessel and proceeded to escorting it to the Rodney Bay Marina.
They stayed on board because, well, they're all saying that the captain usually has to stay with his vessel. That he did, and the vessel was escorted, like I said, to Rodney Bay Marina.
Sergeant Joseph said although there were sizable gashes on the vessel, which appeared to be where it was taking in the water, there is no conclusive cause to the incident. The matter, he said, is under investigation. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Rochelle Gonzalez.
When we come back, Hot 7 News presents a special segment dedicated to St. Lucia's independence. Stay tuned.